Hello, good morning, Doodle Crew. How is everyone out there doing? We are happy to be back. It's Swan and Squish again, and we're still being spooky ladies because it's who we are as people. But today, we're going to have a little bit of a monster party, and we're going to draw some more monsters. But before we get into that and talk about which monsters we're going to do, hey, Squish, where can people find you?
Hi, you can find me at Mayor Squish most anywhere on the internet.
Yay!
When I remember to upload stuff.
It is a constant struggle. Yay! Yep, I feel you. I'm in the same boat. And so whenever I remember to post art, you can find me across the internet at a swan named Emily. But you know who's posting art on a regular basis? That's the Doodle Crew Draw posts. They're up on a regular schedule, at least until through December, which is as far ahead as I could schedule. But they're there and they're happening, and they're all from season 2, and they're lovely. So if you want to check out art from last season, you can do that. If you want to see episodes, you can see them over on my YouTube page, which just hit 100 subscribers. Woohoo! So hopefully, which then I realized like you can't personalize your thing now because it's all moving to handles. But hey, 100 is still 100, so I'm proud of that. But yeah, we're gonna monster. So who are you thinking of monstering today?
So I was thinking of taking Monsters Inc., the movie,
Ooh.
and stealing one of the monsters and putting them in like an actual scare scene because like their job is to scare children. So yeah,
Yes. Oh, I love it. That's so fun.
heck yeah.
I am going to lean into my current obsession, which is Monster Prom. So I'm going to draw some, which is a Steam game. And I'm going to draw a couple of those characters because their designs are amazing and I love them so much. And I finally actually like got the first game, and it's an adorable dating sim, and it's very silly and very fun. So yeah, more of that fun. Oh, yes, it is the Swan and Squish show.
Heck yes.
Brought to you by Doodle Crew. All right. Doop. There we go. Mm-mm-mm. See, I like it because Vera likes to post up right where her tail can knock my tablet pen holder over. And so she just sits there, and I set it there, and she knocks it over, and I pick it up, and she knocks it over. And it's this whole adorable thing that we do.
Yes, not at all annoying, I'm sure.
No, no, super not.
No.
She's beating me up with her tail right now. So, yeah, it's a good thing you're cute. I think she missed me, though. I was
Oh
gone
yeah,
for
tell us about the convention.
Baltimore was fun. So I have a very special place in my heart for Baltimore because it's a show where I probably see the most of what I refer to as my convention family. So it's the people I only ever see at cons. We interact in the internet world outside of that, but they are not people who live close to me or people that I see on a regular basis. But I get to see them all there, and it was lovely. It was wonderful. Yeah, like I'll say from the last time I was there, which I think was in 2019, there was a much more pleasant vibe. I think there was less trepidation. Like everybody just seemed to be happy to be there. Um, yeah, I had some really great interactions with people who came to the table and looked through my stuff. So I was splitting a table with Dennis, and he has his book Lichen. So he was selling that. So we had two very different styles in one table, which is kind of funny because you've got a very serious, like fully rendered, beautiful werewolf book, and then you've got all of my cutesy adorableness and slightly smuttiness. Uh, but yeah, it was good. Made some new friends, which is awesome, especially for people who do this crazy thing called comics. Yeah, and I'm going to refer to it as casual cosplay, because I did not put a ton of effort into it. It was all items I already owned and just maybe a little extra makeup. But I got to cosplay a little bit, and the day that I dressed up as Miss Frizzle, I had a number of people ask to take my picture, so that was quite cute. That's something new for me. I don't usually get that because I don't usually dress up. But that was a lot of fun. And big fun. So while he has gone with me to a few of the smaller shows, this was Vineyard Warrior's first big show. So he helped me out all weekend, and I was even gracious enough to let him not spend the whole time at the con, and he got to go out and take some amazing pictures out and around Baltimore, which he has been posting over on his Twitter. So, which is very, very cool. And I say this in jest. He was completely free to come and go as he wanted, but it was awesome, and he was a tremendous help. It really does help just having an extra set of hands when you're doing a show, because it's a lot. I don't think it's always like anybody who does it knows it, but it's it's a lot of work, and it helps to have people who are able to assist you in that. So yeah, and he's saying it in chat. He said I had a lot of fun, so I'm going with that. But yeah, it was nice. I didn't get a chance to actually see them in person, but they had 4 voice actors of Disney princesses there. So there was a bunch of like Disney like sing along things that they did and fun stuff like that. So it was very cute, and I can bet that people had a blast going to those panels and seeing that. So yeah. I'm sorry this, but I don't know if I like this just yet. But it always cracks me up too, because there's some people who actually live, kind of up in my area here, but I will more frequently see them at convention than I will around here. So I think that's kind of funny that we mutually have to each travel like 4 and 6 hours, but then that we spend more time together than we do when we are only about an hour apart. So, all right, let's put some more friends. Hi, hello, hello. I love you, but I don't know if I can have you there right now. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Also, I think your hair is tickling my nose and making me sneeze. Mm-hmm. She's got this new thing too where she likes to sit on the other side of my keyboard, which is fine until she gets playful, and then she likes to bite my fingers when I go to touch the keyboard. You know, shockingly, not the most helpful. Hi, 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 hi. Yep, yep. You can be in the window. That's a great spot. It's super foggy this morning. Okay. Oh, you know why? I keep doing this. And I know I've talked about it on the stream before, but there's a couple of brushes I really, really like how they work in Clip Studio. And I will forget sometimes because there's one I use specifically for coloring, and I don't like sketching with it as much. I'm like, man, this just feels like it's not quite working. I'm like, why am I feeling so rusty this morning? And I look and I was like, oh, because you're not using the right brush. That's why. Ace Cat said, I'll gladly trade you Vera for 8 cats total, including 4 kittens at the age of 3 months. Yeah. Yeah, they're cute, but they're sprightly. For as much as she gets zoomy sometimes, she is pretty chill most of the time. So, but I know Ace, you had said you were looking to, or you had some places that were going to rehome them. So hopefully they won't be too much for too long. Oh, okay. Oh, so they decided to keep them. So you have a lot of fun to look forward to. Mm. It's interesting to me because anytime I've had interactions where I've had kittens that needed to be rehomed, either someone bringing them to me or us having them, where I'm at is out in farm country. So a lot of the cats end up as outdoor cats and, still feed them and get them spayed and neutered and everything, but they're going to live outside. So we have that as an option, but I'm imagining, in Pittsburgh, it can be a much bigger undertaking. And I know a lot of landlords aren't thrilled about pets. I guess you could be doing that. That works. We were actually talking about folds in clothing and materials yesterday in class, which is fun. So cute already. It's funny to me to look back now on Monsters Inc., which was really like the animation of Sully's hair was so revolutionary for the time, but there's so much of it that looks so rudimentary now for where they have expanded to. It's kind of crazy. Mm. 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 Hey, Kurt, good morning. Hello, hello. So, even though TikTok is being pesky and stupid for you, is there a place that people can tune in and listen to your reading of The Raven that is not there? A place that has the audio? Instagram? Okay, perfect. And your VO by Kurt there too, correct? Okay. We're starting again. Not feeling it. Starting over. Mm-mm-mm. So, which paints are you working with this morning? Or this morning for me?
Well, I got some pretty exciting paints recently.
Yeah.
Yes. They're the kind that like separate. I think I've
Ooh.
probably talked about them before. Basically, like they use pigments together that have different weight. So one
Yes.
rises to the top and one kind of falls below, which creates this really interesting effect. So yeah, it's very exciting.
That's awesome.
It's really fun to play around with.
Now, does it work in a predictable way that kind of makes sense so you know what to expect, or is it enough that it's
Not
just fun to
really.
experiment? Okay.
It's fun to experiment. It granulates more if you use salt with it,
Mm-hmm.
which is exciting. Um, so there's kind of different types. So there's ones that kind of granulate. I don't know how to put this, but they look grainy when they
Mm-hmm.
dry. Like they almost look like, I don't want to say like cracked, but kind of like soil when it cracks a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't great all the time, but it can be in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the others where you can just kind of see the hue shifts and stuff like that. So it's much milder and more subtle, which are the ones that I like.
Nice.
Yes. I'm very excited about them.
That's awesome. And what's the name of that brand?
So the one I'm using right now is by Daniel Smith, and it's called Rose of Ultramarine. It's this really
Mm.
vibrant purpley color, but it separates into like a hot pink and a blue. Well, I say hot pink. It's like a magenta.
Yeah, definitely much hotter pink than the dark.
Yes. But I'm mixing it with gray a little bit to get a little bit more spooky.
Yeah.
But yes. So there's one I got which it uses like mineral components, which it just looks really weird to be honest, but I kind of like it. I kind of like how weird it looks. One of the minerals just kind of separates out and it becomes all grainy and almost textured. It's weird. It's interesting.
Very cool though.
Yes. I wish I had more time to experiment with them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. Yeah, it was interesting. And one, literally, the only reason I had material to put up on TikTok is because one night I was just in the mood to watercolor and I sat down and wanted to play around with the paints that I had gotten. And I was like, you know what? Might as well film it. We'll see. Uh, but I was very curious after all of what we've talked about and everything to see how the paints that I had purchased specifically to be a I'm forgetting all my words this morning. A low cost option. I was like, okay, so these are literally it's a 36 colors, I think, for $5 at Five Below. I'm like, I'm curious to see if they are, are we going all the way back to like the base watercolor set that Crayola sells, or are these, gonna operate a little bit closer to some of the more expensive paints that I have? But yeah, it was interesting. It was one of those to see like this is just me getting to sit down and see and play with this new set. But again, it had to be a very concentrated and specific effort.
I find that with a lot of the more affordable watercolors, they're either chalky because they have a lot of white in them, or they're
Mm-hmm.
slimy,
Hmm.
which sounds interesting, but they're just like they dry kind of like almost glossy, like shiny,
Mm-hmm.
and just they have a weird slimy consistency. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I think with these, again, it was weird because I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, because something wasn't quite right, but I have to figure out. I'm like, but what was it? What was the thing that was not quite right about them? They definitely they could be very pigmented, but the lasting power of like picking that up on my brush wasn't very much. Like I really had to work it to try, even like you said, soaking it and getting it like, nope, they sat, and like constantly getting my brush filled up with paint. Like it still just didn't. It would give me a really saturated color right when I first touched the page, but there was no spread to it, even if the section was already wet and stuff like that. Like I had to keep going back to get more pigment. Um, yeah, and I also the last thing I want to test is it. I realized I was also using affordable watercolor paper. So what I would like to do is now use those exact paints with the nicer Canson, like higher cotton watercolor papers to see if it was just the combination of the two and see if they react the same way, or to see if it's a consistent problem no matter the paper. But it was still fun. Like they have some really bright colors. Like one of the characters I painted is literally hot pink, and the hot pink was hot pink. Um, and I was able to blend colors kind of okay, not great. I would say I've definitely had more success like getting two colors to kind of blend together, whereas this was just like it's wet, so they're both colors are there and they kind of move around, but they're not blending together the same way as other paints. So, but it was interesting.
I
And
kind of
then, oh,
wonder
but
if with cheaper or more inexpensive watercolors, if they like coat the paints, like just like the top layer is some sort of like preservative or something
mm-hmm,
that maybe you like have to
like work
use a
down
little bit of
into,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I
It's
it
weird.
wouldn't surprise me because I mean, again, like for something like that, that's I would say more mass distributed. You need it to stay. You need it to not, it's like opening up eyeshadow palettes and seeing all of the trays of that smashed. Like you have to do a certain amount in order to ensure that it can withstand travel. Um, so yeah, I'd be curious. I'll tell you, in comparison though, because I bought the little blocks of watercolor and I also bought the Five Below tubes of watercolor. The tube watercolor is so bad. It's exactly what you're talking about. It is slimy and it doesn't like slimy is the best word for it because like yes, there's pigment that comes out, but the only time that it is really dense pigment is still in like the big wet slimy globule of it, and as soon as you start to like try and spread that out, it's just thin. It's thin and it's not pigmented at
Yeah,
all.
they probably use a lot of binder. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it's interesting. Again, it was worth it like for $10, it was worth it to try. Plus, it lets me, and this is kind of how the whole thing came up because we were talking about it on a Doodle Crew episode, is I like to know if there are affordable options for my students, or if there are, to say, hey, you don't have to get, these really expensive watercolors or get them from, some crazy store. You can just get this other stuff. And, something that we've talked about, it, at least in my brain, it feels a lot better to play with cheaper supplies because then I don't care. I don't care if I use them up in my learning. Whereas if I buy the expensive stuff, like every time I go to use it, I'm like, oh, this was so much money. It has to be, I have to make something worthwhile of the paint. So,
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
which I'll say definitely does a number on your ability to just loosely create some art. Art of Matt Flint. Well, that's the best way to do it, is get the expensive stuff for cheap. Other material properties. Okay. Yeah. I will say the Five Below like alcohol based dual tip markers, pretty decent. Like they impressed me. Um, I still don't think they stand up to like my Ohus, which I just love. But in a pinch, if you want to learn how to marker render, they're really not bad. Like they've got good coverage. Um, None of them were dried out when I tested them. It's decent color. Like there was a very specific like I don't want to say themed color, but it had like it wasn't just your regular rainbow and black. Like it was, it's kind of a magenta and kind of a teal and kind of a golden yellow. So they were all on that like specifically toned set. But yeah, I think my favorite thing though is I bought a $5 just little easel. That's perfect, and I love it. And it's super portable, and it goes with me to conventions now because I'm like, I have a really nice, like, much bigger one, but it's bigger and it takes more table space, and it's far sturdier and has it has enough height to do like a full comic page on it. So it's great to have here at home, but it's not as practical for shows. So to have a nice little like super cheapy little thing that I can do my little 6x8s on, I was like, yes. So getting closer, but I don't know if we're there just yet. Apparently, I was less warmed up this morning than I realized. So speaking of Matt Flint, you're at Twin Tiers, right? I'm gonna see you in a couple weeks. Get to see my art friends. I'm excited. I get to finish out my Comic-Con year on a very high note with my local show, which is super exciting. Yeah, in regards to getting to play with supplies, I'm really hoping, like after the last show of the season and I kind of, pack up all my convention stuff, I'm hoping that that'll give me a little bit more time to just play with some supplies and to just make some art without uh the pressure of having to have stuff for shows and all of that. But let's hope. Hoping for a productive winter season of just holing up in my house and making art and not leaving a whole bunch.
That sounds perfect.
It did. This felt very good. I got a really nice compliment from the cartooning class that I'm teaching right now, which I absolutely adore. They're adorable and they're super fun. But they were asking if I was going to offer more classes, and I said, it's tough for me because we're getting into story ballet season, so my weekends are really busy and things get a little crazier. But I was like, I'll probably offer something in February, and it sounds like they would all be super excited to take again. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, it was a very nice group uh, to have back after not teaching class for a little bit. So can't remember if I mentioned it to you on a stream or if I was talking about it on my own, but there was one kid in class who gave me possibly like it's one of those where it wasn't an intentional compliment, but it was one of the best. Like, I'm so happy you said that just now. That was nice to hear. But I had them work on drawing, making up their own Pokemon, which I think is very fun because it's usually a thing that a lot of the kids already like, but it's such a great study in simple shapes. And when you're designing evolutions of the Pokemon, you're thinking about what design is going to carry through that connects these two, if anything. Like, how do you show it evolving? And it's a fun character design challenge and all this. And then I always have them design their trainer because I think that's fun. I was like, if it wants to look like you, that's great. If you want to just design somebody else, that's cool too. But I had, gone full ham on mine because of who I am as a person, and just had an absolute blast with it. And I printed it out to show them. I was like, hey, I fully colored mine, and the kiddo, he hadn't heard me mention that. He was just looking at the printout. He's like, this is really great. Like, I was like, thanks. I made it. And he's like, wait, this is you did this? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I thought you just found this on the internet. And I was like, no, no, I made that. And I was just like, oh, buddy, thank you.
So cute.
It was so cute. And he's a little sweetie, so it was very, very sweet. But yeah. It's like, I mean, I did post it on the internet, but I made it first. I didn't just find it there. Yeah, we did that. We did Pokemon one week and then we did Splatoon the other week. So some very fun, uh, like super colorful, super designy cartoon stuff. Which I had to unfortunately then inform him that I've played all of about 6 minutes of Splatoon, but it seemed super fun. Oh, yeah. I was actually just saying, I'm excited to see you at TTC too. Okay, I promise to remind you. I will have a bunch there. I just ordered a couple that I had sold out of, and then I've got, I think, two more I want to try and get finished and ordered in time for the show. So. Yeah, I think right now, oh gosh, if I go by Etsy, which isn't actually all of them, I think I have like 26 stickers listed on there, but there's at least two that got binged for copyright, so they're not sold there. And then I think I have one or two others that are in the restock. So the Emporium, it grows. It grows and grows. See you soon. I have far too many tabs open and trying to find stuff, and I keep losing things. It's It's just going to be one of those mornings where I futz and futz and futz and futz with it. Okay.
Ooh, I like it though.
Thank you. These character designs are so good. They're just they're so good and they're so simple, but they just and I just love the style. Yes. Yes, dark background.
Yes.
I guess Ace says one of the kittens is chasing its tail like a dog. We have one cat, and it's funny. So Vera, the cat I have, it's one of her kittens, which are the cats that live outside at my family's house. Who has like she looks very similar to her mom, but she has this incredibly like short tail. Like it looks like it got trimmed or something, but it didn't. It's so much shorter. But she is constantly like she'll be milling around and doing something. All of a sudden, it's like she realizes she has a tail or she's surprised by it and then attacks it. And she's like, all right, you do you. Weirdo. Okay.
I love weird little animals.
Oh my God. They're so good. So it's funny with this style and this art that I like so much is it has what I think of as similar, like I share similar traits with it, but there's certain things that we do very differently. And so I'm kind of in that like trying to bridge the gap of just um, mimicking the art itself and I won't say copying, but reproducing, maybe? I don't know. Words today. Can't do any of them. Um, and still kind of keeping my own style in it. So we're gonna say fun and challenging, even though at times it is very frustrating. Oh my goodness. So I was curious, just as I was looking up and seeing your fun monster again, to see what year Monster Inc. was released. Monsters Inc. Do you have a guess, or do you already know?
I kind of know ballpark.
Okay.
I think it, yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
I think it's 2005, I want to say.
It's even earlier. It's 2001.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, wow." Like, it's at which and then I'm thinking, I was like, "Okay, I think I vaguely remember it celebrating its 20 year, but I tend to block those out because they make me sad." Yeah. Yeah. Alright, because Toy Story was, like, 96 or something like that? Just have it up. Oh, 95. Original Toy Story was 95. So, yeah. I just remember thinking, the difference between in those 6 years between Toy Story and Monsters Inc., it's like, "Wow, it looks so amazing," and it still does, and I think that's the beautiful thing about a movie like Monsters Inc. is the voice acting is so good, the story is very fun, like, you can get away with animation that has now or not even animation capabilities that have now been surpassed and still have a very enjoyable, very fun movie. Because I can pretty much just listen to Billy Crystal be ridiculous and annoyed for an hour and a half and be very content. Now, have you watched uh, all of the like additional ones that they have made?
I watched Monsters University.
Okay.
That is a really good one, I think.
Okay, that's good to know. I have not watched any of them. Not for any specific reason, just no. We know on this channel and my own channel that I don't watch anything unless I've already seen it. But oh, it looked cute.
I like it. It's actually a prequel, but it's good.
Yeah, which I was very curious when they announced that part and a little bit hesitant because I was like, huh, I wonder, as I often wonder with prequels, I was like, is there more story that we need to tell there? But I'm very happy that
No,
there
there
is.
was. It gave some backstory. It's actually kind of compelling.
That's awesome.
Plus, it's
so,
cute.
so so many years ago. Yeah. No, it looked super fun. Um and the clip that I saw with the little mom in the minivan dropping them off and then,
It's the
headbanging to him.
best.
I was like, it doesn't take much. That little clip kind of sold me. So that's fun. I know it's always I always just said, almost just said it always enjoyed me, which is not the right word. And then I couldn't even say the sentence that I tried to say. Good grief. I think I'm just going to go back to bed after this and try again. Uh, Something that made me happy was the toy was originally bought for my sister, but it was a little doll of Boo, where if you pushed her belly, like she'd make her little sounds from the movie. Super, super cute. It never really like did much for my sister, but my mom loved it. Like she loved Boo. And so like it sat in her room for a really long time. And I'm sure we still have it, but it was just funny to me that I was like, nope, that's the one. Out of out of everything, I was like, that's the one that really landed with my mom, and I always thought that was so cute. Also, Boo's just adorable. I love showing that scene where Sully thinks she's in the trash compactor just as a like a small snippet of nonverbal animation acting and like how exaggerated you could get as he's like stretching his face and looking horrified and falling down and then going back up and like it's so well animated.
Something really interesting is happening to my paint.
Mm.
So I did a black
Ooh,
background and I used some salt on it, and now it's turning brown.
yeah.
It's kind of weird, but I don't hate it.
I was gonna say it
I'm
looks
very
cool. It's giving
confused.
me very much the like the tie-dye esque stuff you can do with bleach. That's very
Exactly.
cool.
But
Very
but
cool.
why though?
Also, I'm excited for you to open TikTok the next time you do and see the 85 art TikToks that I've been sending
Yeah.
to you.
I have not opened TikTok in a while, and it's gonna be an
Yes.
avalanche, I feel.
It's
I'm
the
not
that
complaining at all, but it's gonna be funny.
that oatmeal cartoon where it's the four panel of him like getting on the computer whenever a new season comes and just getting like overwhelmed as all the things like pumpkins shoot out of the screen and stuff like that. It's just going to be all of this art shooting out at you. I like it though because then all of a sudden I'll get 17 notifications on my phone and be like, Nicole saw all the TikToks.
Yep. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm just watching it, like watching the salt react, and yeah,
It's fascinating. I just don't know why it's happening.
yeah. Oh, just as a funny thing that I think you'll appreciate because you know me and my ridiculousness. I had a moment last night where I was just slowly like working back through my podcast queue and everything, and I have one show that I've been working through the backlog of that I'm so close. So I've just been, as soon as I finished an episode, adding a new one and sliding it up and everything. And so I was getting ready for bed last night, and I realized that the episode that I've been listening to for the last like 40 minutes was all about the Donner Party, and I was like, why did you do that right before you were getting ready to go to bed? Like, it's again, it's very informative. It's an educational podcast. Like, it talks about a lot of stuff, but it was one of those I'm like, you wonder why you don't sleep well and you have nightmares.
I've done
Crazy.
that before.
I'm just like, they're really good. Like, I love the way that they present information and it's really cool. But I was like, but also,
I do it with the true crime documentaries all the time. I'm like, oh, I should go to bed, except now I'm gonna think about this for an hour.
yep. Welcome to my nightmares.
Yep.
Well done, us. Mm. So I had to laugh. I have a very cute friend who she was sending me she's sending me TikToks and then she sent me a Snapchat, but she is, we'll say, just a little bit excited about Christmas. And so it was already like she's already put up one of her trees, like no ornaments or anything, but just the tree with the lights. And like recently she hung up garland and everything. And I was like, you're ridiculous. And I was giving her heck because I was like, it's still Halloween. You can't do this yet. She's like, you can't stop me. That was just so funny. Like, nope, you do you. You're just I don't know that I'm gonna be able to let go of Halloween until about the 15th of November.
Yeah. It's funny, I've gotten more strict with that over the last couple of years. I was like, no, you cannot start celebrating Christmas before Halloween is over. Like, that's
Hmm.
just illegal.
Yep.
I used
Straight to jail.
to, yeah, I used to be very different.
Well, and I think it's, and again, obviously I can understand that certain people don't enjoy Thanksgiving, don't have good relationships with their family, or it's just not it's not a thing for them. Totally fine. I'm very, very lucky. It's usually at this point, it's a very chill holiday. It's a fun day of cooking with my family and playing games and being silly. Uh, but I was like, but even with that, I was like, I just need you to okay, you can roll over Thanksgiving, whatever. But I was like, get away from Halloween. Get away.
Very true.
I color on that color layer. Of course I did. Of course I did. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Well, that's rude.
What a sad little kitty cat.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited that Vineyard Warrior has a little one, and gonna get her to dress up for the upcoming show. So it's like 2 Halloweens. Also, delightful thing about fan art is I can just pull the existing colors and I don't have to stress about it. And that's such a wonderful feeling. Ooh, yeah. That works so well. Pulls that character right towards the front. Yeah, looks good.
Yes.
I really like how the uh, let me roll back, start again. Uh, from how it looked being so super dark, the ultramarine, now looking so much paler. So I don't know if
Yeah.
you pulled up, but I absolutely love how it is blending into the blue of his body. That just looks so cool.
Yeah. So it's funny because that's actually a side effect of the paper. I find that the colors just dry a lot lighter on this paper.
Interesting.
I don't know why. That's
Hmm.
what they do.
Now is this the paper that you usually use, or is this a different?
It is the one I've used the past couple months.
Okay.
There's one other that I have used and that I have used on Doodle Crew, but I don't super like
Mm.
because you can't really do layers because it just pulls up the one below it
Oh
really, really easily. And then
no.
it creates like weird blooms and stuff, and it's just not what I'm looking
Nope.
for. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't found a better one, so
Yeah, I think like I said, the most recent watercolor paper I just got from Walmart, so it was their kind of cheapy water, like not from the children's section cheap, but from their art section affordable. But I do really like that Canson paper that I think we've talked about. I just like how that one reacts. It reacts in the way that I expect it to, um, and like you were saying, I get the option to work back into stuff without having it just pull all my color out. I was really pleased with that too because I did a little bit, just a tiny, tiny little bit of gouache work on it, and it worked really well for gouache. So that was very exciting.
we still need to do our gouache stream at
I
some point.
know. I know. Like I said, maybe in the colder months when things are a little less crazy for both of us. Also, just something rewarding from yesterday because I'm celebrating the wins. Uh, it's the first time in class that I've brought up and talked about model sheets, where the students were not only like really receptive to it, but also like, not that other classes haven't understood it, but they were just like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. And I understand what, like, it was just, yeah, we had a good class yesterday. So it was very rewarding. So I'm just going to finish up blocking in this last little bit of color. And then if you are ready for show and tell, I can also be ready.
Yes, that sounds good.
Blech. Ooh, yeah. I like that white outline on him. That looks nice. Yeah,
I do love my
Posca.
white Posca.
Yes. Seriously, such a game changer. It's not even funny. All right. Get an errant. That. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. Do save. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Look at those
Yay.
teeth. So cute.
I know. Thank you.
I like it. Yeah, honestly, I love, especially to like the left side of the page, I love how the pattern of the salt looks. Like
Yeah.
it reminds me of the, like if you have a prism hanging in your window where it casts all of those like cool reflective light shadows. Like that's really fun. Again, unexpected, but we like it.
Yeah. I like it when that stuff happens. It's just interesting.
I was gonna say it's hard too because there's so much of the like, oh, okay, here we go. Not really sure what's gonna happen, but we'll do it. So no, it turned out fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, yay for monsters. And if people want to see more of your stuff, where can they find you?
You can find me pretty much everywhere at Mayor Squish.
Yay! Yeah, and hopefully more Swan and Squish streams as we try and make our
Yeah.
schedules work. Yeah, like it. All right, swap and zoom in. Try to zoom in. There we go. So these are
Ooh.
very, very, very rough colors, but these are two of the playable characters that you can play in Monster Prom and their subsequent other properties because there's Monster Prom 2, there's Monster Camp, and now I think there's Monster Road Trip. So there's plenty of monster related uh, content for you if you want it.
I like it.
Thanks. Like I said, they're super fun, and the colors are great. The character designs are great. Like it's just a very easy, fun thing to do fan art of. So yeah, I've got. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, I guess you can see, or even on Facebook, heck, they're all there. You can see 2 time lapse drawings and paintings of me working on 3. It will be 3 other characters. I'm posting another one today from this same series that I did in watercolor. And then I got one more that I started over the weekend at Con. So it's going to be an interesting collection of watercolor, tone tan paper, markers, and then digital of all these different characters. But they're super fun. So I will probably keep doing them. Also, I had a bunch of people at the show recognize the characters and get excited about them. So that always feels good. Because I was like, often I'm doing such obscure stuff that nobody knows what I'm doing, which is fine. But yeah. Want to see more of me? You can follow me all across the internet at Swan named Emily. And follow Doodle Crew Draw on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Especially on our Facebook and Instagram, we're posting all of the old art. If you want to watch more episodes, you can see those over on my YouTube page. And if you have any questions about the artists or want to see more of their stuff, we have a link tree that shows all of that. And if you want to come and chat with any of us and join us, we have a Discord that you can come and hang out and interact with all the cool artists. Pretty much anybody who's been on episodes, all of that. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your time until Christmas, which is how I'm going to put that. Goodbye.